I'm Dave Morris from News OK. We are live streaming the 2013 Bart and Nadia Sports and Health Festival on newsok.com this morning. We'll be doing this until noon. The live stream will last till noon, and we're bringing in various dignitaries and significant people all morning long, and I'm happy to be joined now by Joe Jacobi. Joe, how are you?
Hey, Dave, it's great to be here.
You sat down and said you just completed 16 miles of something, and you're not even breathing hard.
Oh, I've just been cough hacking for the last 20 minutes. You know, when you talk about all the incredible health and wellness initiatives that are happening in this city right now, and we do point to the river, we do point to the thunder, but the marathon, the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon, and the way this community rallies around it, the last Sunday in April, Oklahoma City turns into Portland, Oregon. 27,000 runners, raising about $1 million towards the operations of the Oklahoma Memorial. It's phenomenal, and the Land Runners Running Club is doing, you don't even have to be a member of the club, free training runs every Saturday morning that kind of build you up getting ready for the marathon. This year will be my second.
Okay.
And it is just another example of everything that we're talking about here today with health and wellness initiatives and people just really associating their own health and wellness with their real civic pride, you know, for Oklahoma City.
Let's get back to that in just a second, but let me backtrack real fast. Joe Jacobi, you're President and CEO of U.S. Canoe Kayak, correct?
Yep.
Give us a recap of your job and what you do.
So, USA Canoe Kayak, we are the national governing body of competitive canoe kayak in the United States. We are a member of the United States Olympic Committee. We're also a member of the International Canoe Federation. And the way I like to explain it is, if you watch the Olympic Games in London and you saw any canoe kayak, whether it was flat water sprint racing or whitewater slalom racing, those were our athletes. We train those athletes, we employ their coaches, we support them. And this particular weekend, we actually have all of our club coaches from around the United States here in Oklahoma City for our coaching and leadership conference. And just another example of what Oklahoma City brings to the national governing body of canoe kayak, this very powerful, strong symbol for community support and a strong riverfront where coaches, the best canoe kayak coaches from the country, come to learn, improve, and raise standards to help our athletes win gold medals at the Olympic Games.
We're live streaming this morning on newsok.com from the 2013 Bart and Nadia Sports and Health Festival, and we had Bart Connor on first thing early this morning. He expects 10,000 people to be here. You know, in the past 5 or 10 years, we've seen so much growth and so much community input, and you've certainly seen that firsthand because you've relocated here, and now you're a part of that.
Well, I know that if you ask the real leaders like a Bart Connor about how we're doing, or the mayor who you just had on a moment ago, everyone knows we have work to do. But this is really not any different than developing an elite athlete. You have to start at the base level. And what's happening in this room and at the festival today is that people are coming to learn. They're coming to see what their options are for living a higher quality of life, living a healthier life, taking care of their kids. There is so much interest in this issue, but there is no doubt in a place like Oklahoma City, we have got to build the base of the pyramid,
Sure.
You know, if we want to kind of ramp up and get people healthier, and we're doing the right things. What the mayor has done is phenomenal. Everything from bike trails to the support of the river and the thunder, and just really getting people feeling great about the community they live in. That's a start. That inspires you to want to go out and run and bike and walk or take the stairs or, you know, eat better. I mean, we're doing those things. It's a process.
It is a process, but also opportunity plays a big part of that. When you have an event like this, 10,000 people show up. If you have bike trails or walking trails or just a place for people to be more active, people take advantage of that as well, right?
There's no doubt. I mean, it's the investment in that community, you see people feel it. Let me tell you about one initiative that we're really excited about down at the boathouse. It's going to make a huge difference for us and for how people find us. We're just about a month and a half away from the completion of the new pedestrian walkway, the extension of the Oklahoma River underneath I-40 into Bricktown. So if you drive down to the boathouse right now, Lincoln Boulevard does that funny meandering thing to get down there. All of a sudden, for those of us that go and eat lunch, a healthy lunch, in Bricktown, in a few weeks, we're going to be walking. It's going to be a 5-minute walk to Bricktown as opposed to a 7-minute drive, park your car, and a 3-minute walk.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are going to have that access, if you invest in those things, it will change, people's opportunity. And by the way, when we finally get to where we want to be, and history shows this, it will never be one thing that got us there.
Yeah.
It's like doing a million little things right. And the more million little things that we kind of offer to our people, you will see people embrace that slowly. And then all of a sudden, people look back and they say, wow, look how we went from here to there. And we build off that momentum. And that's how these initiatives tend to work.
Joe, you mentioned that pathway, people walking. I have a lot of friends who work and live either in Bricktown, Deep Deuce area, or downtown. The ability to just walk instead of having to get in your car and drive everywhere really does change your perspective, and it really, that access, that makes a big difference.
So I remember when I retired from competitive canoeing and after the 2004 Olympics, and my wife said, you really should find a new hobby. You've been canoeing for 20 years at a high level.
Was she just saying get out of the house?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she was trying to kill me at first. Like, do you want to take flying lessons? Do you want a motorcycle? Like, really? So
how about skydiving?
I took up cycling. And the biggest thing that I initially saw when I took up cycling was when you begin to see the world from a bike at 15, 20 miles an hour, you gain an appreciation for it. I did that for about 5 years. Then I started doing the long distance running with the Land Runners. And, we run at Nichols Hills and out to Hefner, and we run downtown at the boathouse. And then during the marathon, we cover 26 miles on a big grand loop. When you kind of put yourself in a position to see the world at different speeds than just the car, where you've got the radio going and you're on your phone and you're plugged in. I just think it gives you such an appreciation. I'll just tell you a little bit this morning about my run. It was about 30 degrees out.
Joe, that's too cold for me.
No. For running, it's perfect weather. It's about 30 degrees out, completely blue skies, no wind, and we had these snowscapes all around Lake Hefner. It was the greatest running day I've had in Oklahoma in the 4 years I've been coming here. And just to see what a beautiful, beautiful, natural, scenic environment that we live in, it was so inspiring. It was such a great run. So when we put ourselves in the position to walk around Bricktown, walk to lunch, ride our bike to work, get on the water and just see the world from the water, from a stand-up paddleboard, a dragon boat, or a kayak, it changes the way we feel about the city that we live in.
Well, it puts your senses to use, touch, feel, see, that sort of thing. You mentioned the marathon. I've run that a couple times as well. The community support when you're running. I mean, it sounds silly, but the people at the water stops, the people out in their front yards cheering you on, it makes a huge difference.
But every year, the people on the course are amazing. When you run the marathon, all the runners are aware of a couple of participants who are participating in the marathon doing something very unique and different. Last year, there was a soldier who ran the marathon with a 168-pound pack on his back, 1 pound for every person that died in the bombing.
That's pretty special.
We also had a participant named Amy Downs, who was the second to last survivor pulled out of the building, and she lost over 100 pounds to run her first marathon last year. When you know these kind of stories and you know what you're running for, we always say it's a run to remember. That it is like with every step, it doesn't matter if you have to walk, crawl. There is so much encouragement, but it really seems like a pretty small sacrifice when you see what some of the other people are doing. and really what the marathon means to our community. I just found it was the most incredible. I wasn't living here when the bombing happened. Never in my, and I knew, I've told you this before, when I was 10 years old, I knew kayaking was my life. I knew I was going to work within the sport. Never in my wildest dreams did I think the bombing would be so attached to the sport that I love, to this city that, I didn't, back then I never thought we would be here, and Mike Knopp would have put this vision together now at the river, and it would be so tied to the civic pride that has really brought this city back from that event. And so for me, the participation in the marathon, it's inspiring, it's humbling, it's respect and gratitude, kind of all lumped together in one.
We are live streaming from the 2013 Bart and Nadia Sports and Health Festival at the Cox Center. I'm here with Joe Jacobi. And Joe, I'll get you out on this. We talked about the Memorial Marathon. That's an event coming up in April. But what's coming up in your world?
Well, there is so much progress happening down at the boathouse right now. I think one thing that we're really excited about is the new lights, the new lighting project. It's was the actual very first MAPS 3 expenditure was the lighting of the Oklahoma River. So in April, during USA Canoe Kayak Team Trials, will be the very first time we light the river for an event. We also have USA Canoe Kayak Sprint National Championships coming to the Oklahoma River in August. That'll bring in 350 of our best paddlers from around the country here to Oklahoma City. And then a little bit out there in the future, an event you're going to hear us start talking to us about more, 2014, the Canoe Marathon World Championships.
What's that?
Well, it is just like, it's like a marathon in canoes and kayaks. So it's long distance racing, and we'll be doing it right at the boathouse. It's not point to point racing. It'll sort of be a big loop around the river, and they kind of make continuous loops. But during this sport, you also have to get out of your boat, run with your boat for a couple hundred meters, get back in and paddle, so there's portages.
Who came up with this idea?
It's actually, the sport is huge in Europe. We will, believe it or not, we'll probably have, we could have anywhere from 600 to 800 competitors here for that event, from 30 to 40 different countries.
Wow.
So this is a very popular sport in Europe, and a World Championships in Oklahoma City. A World Championships in Oklahoma City. So we're going to begin to start talking about that more. We'll be doing a test event for that Marathon Worlds as part of the Head of the Oklahoma Regatta in the fall, which will be under the permanent lighting system as well. So lots of neat things going on in our world as well.
Joe Jacobi, I know you're a busy man. We certainly appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for News OK. You guys are the best.
All right, our live stream here on newsok.com will continue. Right now, we'll kick it back to our bumper cam and some corporate rowing.